Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. I am actually giddy about recording today's episode. I'm always excited, but I was finishing up my notes for today's topic and I get to kind of like be a little sassy and pick things apart and speak my mind, which you know I love. So I was just like, let's go. I was so excited to record this. I'm going to be talking to you today about 9 fitness trends I'm currently seeing on social media, honestly, mostly Instagram. I don't spend a lot of time on any other app, I'll be honest. I know there's a lot on TikTok, probably Facebook. Are they called Reels on there? I'm not sure. Either way, these are 9 fitness trends you should not fall for. So these are just things that I'm seeing, like I said, that honestly piss me off when I see them. And I want to bring awareness to you about them. Like I said, I spend a lot of time on just Instagram working, honestly. But when I do scroll, I'm actually not seeing a lot of this stuff just because the content that I consume, the accounts that I follow on Instagram are mostly accounts like me, which I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but I'm very particular about what I consume. And I just don't have time. I don't like to scroll right now, whatever the case may be. But these are things that I keep seeing. And I actually did a little extra research on different things. I should have done a poll on Instagram to kind of see what you guys are seeing and questions you have. And what's this? Is this true? Is this true? But I didn't. So I'm just going to go off of what I see. And I'm super excited. So this episode is released the day after Christmas, which I hope you had an amazing Christmas. If you celebrate, I am very excited for Christmas. I'll be very glad when it's over, just like the stress of like the gifts and the food and not the food as far as macros and what I can eat, but like actually buying the food and making it and taking it places and just all of the things. I'll be glad when it's over and I can just relax and enjoy the time that my kids have off from school and all of that. But I hope you did have an amazing Christmas, again, if you celebrate. But I also know that 'tis the season for, New Year's resolutions. We're going to be setting those in no time, like next week. And you're going to be feeling fluffy and like you fell off track and all the negative things that all these cycles that we go through are going to be popping back in. This is the time of year. And accounts, coaches, personal trainers, whatever, are going to be, they already are all year long, targeting that and feeding off of that. But it's going to be bad. You're going to be seeing this shit like double time now. And I want you to be aware that most of the stuff you see and you consume is not true. It's designed to draw you in. They target pain points of their audience, which I'm going to get into. And a lot of it is just, obviously they want to make money, right? That's their business. I get it. But the way they're doing it is, I think, wrong. It's misleading. It's not true. It's exploitation of, like I said, pain points, and it's bullshit. And it makes me mad. I don't fall into the trap of it. Not as much as someone who doesn't know better. Like I can see pretty much all of these things I'm going to talk about and just be like, oh my God, I would never buy that. But I know that I used to be in the place where I would be sucked into that. And I get a lot of questions about, Christy, what do you think about this exercise? What do you think about this product? And so I know that you're seeing this stuff and that it's playing on you. Like that's their goal. It's really good marketing. Okay. And so first, what I want to say is I hope you enjoy what I'm about to say and all these things that I'm about to get into. But I want to first preface this with, please stop letting accounts, influencers, apps on your phone influence you so hard. We have stopped using our brains. Even a post that I will read. I read something, it was just as simple today as, your pets will regulate your nervous system. When you see your pet cuddled up in your home, you instantly feel relaxed because your pet feels relaxed in your home, which is great. But also it's like we read that and then we're instantly like, oh, my pet, reduces my anxiety. It relaxes me. And I'm like, is that even true? Like, who says is that? I don't need everything to be scientific. If it works for me, then it works for me. And that's all I need. But like, we are just reading things and consuming things and seeing things and buying things and not even thinking at all about it. And it's insane. And so I know what do I want to say? We're consuming so much content and we're also acting on that so mindlessly. And so one thing I would love for you to take away from this is stop letting people, apps, whatever, everything, stop letting everything influence you so hard. Get back to using your brain and ask yourself, does that make sense for me? Does that look like that would actually work? Does this sound like a marketing tactic? Does that even look like she uses that product? Is this bullshit? Even think to yourself, what would Christy think about this? That's fine. Whatever you have to do to kind of start thinking in a different way, because people are really in the market of just playing off of your weaknesses, and they know the algorithm, they know how you work. It's all very technically done to get your money and to maybe not even help you in the way that you are hoping to be helped. So let's get into it. 9 fitness trends I've personally seen, and I would love for you to message me on Instagram or in the Facebook group, Christy Castillo Fit, and let me know of different things you've personally bought that didn't work, or things that you've seen that you have questions about, or things that you've seen and thought, the fuck is this? I would love to have these conversations because it just is very interesting to me. So number 1, I am seeing words like deep core, pelvic floor, get rid of the mom pooch, lose your fupa, or fupa blasting workouts, okay? Again, this is a pain point of women. We are now told, obviously, deep core workouts are amazing. Improving your pelvic floor after you've given birth is a very necessary thing. Your mom pooch, right? That's wording that we use. So when you see like, here's a workout that will get rid of your mom pooch, that's someone saying, I think you're insecure about your mom pooch or your fupa, and I'm going to play off of that insecurity, and here's a program that you can buy, right? Because the workouts that they're doing in those videos very rarely are anything that's going to help with your mom pooch. For one, if you have a mom pooch, who cares? It's fine. There's organs inside of your belly, mamas, that makes you have a little pooch. That's completely normal. But a lot of times, the things that they are showing you, the moves, are not designed for that. There are specific deep core movements that are very, very simple, very easy. And there's a routine and a way to do those things that is not very sexy, and people wouldn't be posting it on Instagram. Again, this is a lot of exploiting pain points of women. So if you see creative wording like the things that I said, lose your mom pooch, lose your fupa, those are things that you're like, wow, how did she know that I say the word mom pooch? How did she know I'm insecure about that, right? Well, she's done her research. So that's one thing that that's a fitness trend. It's a trend anyway, that I keep seeing and hearing, and the marketing is really, really good on that. So yes, deep core is a great thing to work, and I'm actually going to be I actually do implement deep core movements with quite a few of my one-on-one clients, because our deep core muscles don't get worked enough. We, for some reason, are very focused on, obviously, our abs looking good and just the very basic movements to work your abs. But our deep core keeps our entire body together. It's our core, for God's sake. So it's basically like from, your ribs to your knees is your actual core. And so there are ways to do that. But when you hear those things being said in a way that it's very triggering for you, or it grabs your attention and promises things that, like mom pooch, things like that, it promises to get rid of that. It's probably a tactic, and I want you to be aware of that. What I was also going to say in addition to that was I do work on that with my one-on-ones, and I am going to be adding some deep core movements into my Fit Club workouts because it is something that I do want my ladies to work on, but I will not be talking about it in a cheesy way to grab your attention. I will be explaining it technically, what it is used for and why, and how to do the movements. Be very aware of the exploitation and the targeting of certain pain points, certain words, certain feelings that they bring out of you when you see something that says lose your mom pooch, lose your fupa, and you are very much like, oh my God, how did they know that wording is what I use? Well, it's a marketing thing. They do that on purpose. So number 2 is a snatched waist. For guys, the amount of times that I have seen do this move and it will snatch your waist, or I swapped squats for this whatever corny move they're doing in the video that will not snatch your waist, by the way, and I saw a snatched waist in 2 weeks, is insane. So a snatched waist, again, is it's terminology, it's wording. So now all of a sudden we're like, oh, I want a snatched waist. I want a snatched waist. And doing this workout, I'm getting a snatched waist. The fuck does that even mean? Like, what are you even talking about? The way you can't shrink. I mean, yes, losing fat on your waist will display your waist, but you have a certain size structure of your body that you can't just shrink the size of your waist and your hips, with certain movements. That's not how it works. It takes good digestion. You have to have a flat stomach, so good digestion is good for that. You have to build out your shoulders and your glutes to actually give you an appearance of a smaller waist. So if you are seeing point of view, right? You always see those POV. I swapped this move for this move, and now I have the snatched waist I've always wanted. That's bullshit. Keep scrolling. Number 3, decreasing cortisol, releasing stress and tension, and stored trauma workouts. This is something newer that I've been seeing a lot of. And at first, I do believe, obviously, having cortisol in your body it will slow down your weight loss. It is not a great thing to have a lot of, right? I've talked about stress being stored in your body. I've talked about trauma being stored in your body. And the way to get that out of your body is by, yes, feeling your feelings, letting your emotions out, cry and kick and scream and punch the floor, whatever you have to do to release that. And this is kind of a trend that people are now playing off of, because if you think about it, mental health is such a huge thing right now, which is great that we're bringing awareness to mental health, which that comes with words like decreasing your cortisol, balancing your emotions, releasing stress and tension. Trauma is a word that people use a lot. Regulating your nervous system. So all of those things are like, people are, what they do in the marketing is like, what are people focused on right now? Their mental health, which means words like trauma, stress, cortisol, nervous system. We'll use those words, create a workout program, sell it, and make some money, right? They're playing off you. Those are pain points. Those are popular words that you say. And when you hear, you're like, oh, I have trauma stored in my body. I need this workout program. It's not to say that workout is necessarily bad, but I'll just tell you it's not amazing. They're just playing on a popular trend and they're trying to monetize. So it's not that the movements they are doing are necessarily bad. Like I said, definitely move in certain ways that feel good and release all of that. But if you read the fine print on those, or the whole post, or even the comments, it does kind of go in there where they'll say, like, you have to control your diet and you have to, all of the things that I've said along with this program. So that's something else that I've just want to bring to your awareness, that it's a trend that I've been noticing. It's a lot of the, releasing stored trauma, regulating your nervous system, releasing stress and tension through these somatic movements. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just be careful to know whether it or not it's something you need. I personally, like even today during my workout this morning, I was stretching and I got very emotional and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just I'm moving my body and it releases energy, which can be stored as feelings. And I'm just an emotional person. So I'm kind of like feeling my body's feeling better. I'm feeling the tension leaving my body. All I needed to do was stretch and listen to my body. I didn't need to buy a program to help me with that, if that makes sense. Number 4, 10-minute Pilates at home workout, or 10-minute full body, no equipment workouts, or these 3-2-1 methods. Sound like they invented something, which is absolutely amazing and you can't live without it, right? The way that I changed my body was with this 3-2-1 method. And it's like 3 days of lifting weights, 2 days of cardio, and 1 day of core. Like, it's not rocket science. I mean, I guess I could break my own workouts into a 3-2 method where I do 3 heavy full body days and 2 accessory days. Wow, mind blown. But I'm not going to market it like that because that's bullshit. So it's just marketing. It's just them trying to think of something clever that you're like, oh, I haven't tried the 10-minute at home workout. Oh, I haven't tried the 3-2-1 method. That's the way that my life is going to change. And it's not. So don't you think if it was this easy, everyone would be doing it? There's not going to be a workout program invented ever again that's going to change the game. Everything invented at this point is redundant and it works, or redundant and it's just for marketing. That's it. Like, everybody should really be kind of doing the same thing at this point. So anything that's like, oh my God, that's a very new concept. It's not. It's just bullshit and it's marketing. So 10-minute Pilates workouts and 10-minute at-home workouts, they're not going to change your life. They're not going to change your body. You need resistance training. Yeah, doing at-home workouts is amazing. Doing 10-minute workouts is amazing if you've started with 0-minute workouts before that, right? But you are going to have to progress. So if you see accounts saying this 10-minute Pilates program, this 3-2-1 program changed my life, you can do it at home in 10 minutes or on the beach with no equipment. No. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing 10-minute workouts on a beach. Like, that's not true. So keep scrolling. That's hashtag keep scrolling. That's what we're doing today. Number 5, I've seen a lot of this where a post will say, do these 2 moves, insert whatever 2 moves, and you will see glute growth. You'll see your booty double in size in 4 weeks if you do these 2 moves back to back. And depending on the reel that you're watching, it's 2 different moves. So there are certain moves that will cause glute growth, like your hip thrusts, your reverse lunges, your RDLs, your glute focused step ups, things like that. But not any certain 2 moves will work for everyone and cause glute growth. There was a long time I did moves that promised glute growth. And I think a lot of people think squats for your glutes, and squats are great. You will see some glute growth with squats, but they're not designed to grow your glutes. So there are different movements that will help you grow your glutes. If you see someone saying these 2 moves will double or whatever, promise you something, keep scrolling, okay? The premise for this is just that. They want you to save that reel. They want you to do it. They want you to tag them. And, if you have a reel saved and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to see booty growth, and you do these 2 moves every single day, superset, oh my God, you're like gonna almost, even if you don't see glute growth, you're gonna be like, wow, my glutes are looking great. My booty's growing. It could literally not even be, but since your favorite influencer says that's how she got her glutes, you're gonna just buy into it, right? So everybody has a different body, right? My best friend Jenna and I have joked before about the size of our femurs. She's very tall. I'm very short. I have little baby femurs. Hers are longer than mine. Sorry, Jenna. But I'm just using this as an example. Some people can get deeper in a squat because of their femur length, because of their ankle mobility. Some people cannot get as deep in a squat because of those 2 things, or range of motion. And it's the same for reverse lunges, for RDLs, for any movement that you are doing. Your muscle size, your body size, your bone size, structure, all of it is different than somebody else. So if I were to post, I've actually posted something like, these 2 movements work for me. They've grown my glutes, but that doesn't mean it will work for you. It took me a long time to figure out how to grow my baby glutes because I don't really naturally have any. And it took me a long time to figure it out because I kept trying what everybody else was doing. And these ladies are like 6 foot tall and, their body just is structured differently. So what was working for them wasn't working for me. So if you ever see anything promised that's like, do these 2 moves and you'll see X, Y, and Z, most likely that's not going to happen for you. Take the movements that I mentioned and superset those for a while, add those in, have a 2 glute days, a week in your programming and kind of see how that goes. But progressive overload, things like that will definitely help. I'm not going to get into exactly how you will see booty growth. That's not the point of this episode. The point is that for one person to say, do these 2 things and you will see booty growth, the size of your femurs, the mobility of your ankles, of if you're trying to grow your biceps, obviously there are certain movements that will, definitely do that. But it is also going to be different for everyone because of body structure, because of height, because of weight, because of flexibility, because of all the things that I mentioned. Like your body is so much different than the person's body that is explaining these 2 movements or explaining what will work for you. There are things that will work for you in general, and those things are just really good habits and consistency, but there's no 2 movements that will cause you to see growth in any area. So keep scrolling past those. Number 6, posts. Oh my gosh, recently I have seen so many posts that talk about changing your face structure, facial massages that will change your jaw structure, that will change your cheekbone structure, that will change your brow bone structure, jaw strengthening exercises. And while these are amazing things, I love gua sha. I love facial massage. I love lymphatic drainage. I love it. And I think it does benefit my skin and my facial structure. I do believe that our muscles, do relax, and obviously our faces do sag, whatever you want to call it, over time, and we can definitely strengthen the muscles in our face and our jaw. Like, I understand the premise. Again, it's not that these things are bad. It's that all of a sudden it's everywhere. Like when accounts that were big on gua sha and lymphatic drainage and that kind of thing, which were very healthy, I feel like, and were created in a good way, people take that and, instead of it being like for relaxation and because you should and health and all these happy, healthy reasons, then they turn it into change your entire face structure with facial massage, buy my program, or you have to strengthen your jaw. And then people get their products out to all these, popular influencers, and then there's paid ads, and then you see them doing it and they're talking about how amazing it was and how it worked for them. They're getting paid to say that, by the way. So it's just like the knowledge around it that I know when I see those things, I'm like, oh my God, now all of the sudden we all have to have big asses and we have to have really structured jawbones. Like, what is going on? So I've seen a lot of these posts talking about that. Again, if you want to square up your jawline, if you want to tighten up your jaw and do those exercises, by all means. But I think it's all of a sudden just now we all feel like I need to, sharpen my cheekbones. I need to do all these things, and they're just playing on us. And it's just insane. Again, I do love gua sha, facial massage. I love it for the relaxation benefits. I love it for lymphatic drainage, all the right reasons. It's when I start doing something for the right reasons and then I get preyed on, like, now that you're doing this, you should add this on for this reason. I'm like, I don't leave me alone. I don't want to do that. So that was something that I've noticed recently too, is just all these accounts talking about changing your face structure. And I saw one about like you can change your jaw structure and your cheek structure by sucking on your finger in a certain manner. I thought, oh my God, if there's any reason to blow up the internet, like this would be it. Number 7, post content that talks about slimming your back or shredding your arms in 4 weeks just drive me crazy. So nothing will change your body that quickly. If anything has a timeline on it, a time frame on it, like tone your shoulders in 4 weeks, slim your back in 2 weeks. Do these 4 movements and you'll have the slimmest back of your life. And then usually they start to do a exercise that doesn't even work their back. It's insane how stupid some of these accounts are. And some of them really piss me off because I follow that account because not that long ago, that person was a respected person, in my opinion, in the health fitness industry. And I'm like, wow, you can really trust them. All of a sudden, they have all these sponsors and they have all these codes and all these things they're drinking and all these things they're doing that will help with your fupa and your back and your arms and your glutes and the 3-2-1 method. And it's insane. And you just know that they've like crossed a line where I'm like, nope, block, delete, I can't. It infuriates me that they've like crossed the line into from really, really helping people genuinely to now I have all these sponsors and I am saying things that aren't true. So that's something that I've heard recently too, is just slim your back, shred your arms. The only way to slim any part of your body is to grow muscle, because muscle takes up less space than fat. So even if you weigh the same, you have muscle, and instead of fat, you're going to appear smaller. So losing fat, gaining muscle is the only way you can look slimmer. Yes, slimming your back is going to take building muscle. How else do you think you're going to slim your back? You literally have to build muscle. If you see someone with a strong back and you're like, wow, her back is so shredded, or I don't even know what a slim back means, but I actually saw a post that said that. So now it's irritating me that I'm even saying it. But what it looks like is you can see their muscle, right? You can see their muscle and there's very little fat on their bodies. It's not the magic of the movements they're doing. It's their diet. It's the habitualness of it. It's the consistency of it. Number 8, this drives me crazy when I hear someone say, this drink helped me lose X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks, right? Usually it's a pink drink or a purple drink. And this is interesting. Usually, no, always they're holding the container backwards so you can't see the name of it. That was something we learned in Beachbody coaching, was never show the label of what you're selling, because then they can just Google it and buy it on their own. And God forbid we don't get commission for a product that we didn't even create. Ridiculous. Pissed that I even did that. But anyway, if you hear someone saying, this color drink helped me lose weight and I'm going to make my drink for you and you're going to watch me make my drink, but I'm not going to show you what the label is. If I'm making a drink for you, I'm going to show you the flavor. This is my collagen. It's unflavored. I add it to my level 1. I mean, yeah, I would love for you. I do get a little commission off of what I'm selling from First Form, but I'm going to show you the goddamn label. I just think it's shitty not to. So if you're ever seeing someone hold a container backwards, if you're interested in the product, just Google it, because honestly, I think that's just shady. Like, show me the product. And if I know, like, and trust you, I'm going to message you and say, hey, I really want to buy that. And I would love for you to get credit and, you know, make some money off of it because I really like you. Even though you showed me the name of it, I want to buy it through you, right? That's just how I think. So there's also these ads I keep seeing for colostrum. It's not necessarily that colostrum is bad. It's not necessarily that any of those products are bad. I just don't think they're necessary. Is it necessary? Colostrum especially talks about the debloating and the less inflammation. Like, why all of a sudden do we all need to take colostrum? How have we lived this long on earth without colostrum? They make it sound like this magical, and all these drinks, right? The pink drinks, the purple drinks, all of them. People make it sound like, how are you living without this drink? Well, you are. So chances are you're fine. But they talk about debloating, less inflammation, all these benefits. What if you saved the $100 a month that you'd be spending on the pink, purple colostrum drink? And what if you just changed your habits for free so that you could get the results that you want? Why don't you cut back on some of the processed bullshit that you're eating? I love processed food, so I'm not saying that you need to even do that, but there have to be things that are causing you to be bloated or overweight or whatever. The amount of calories you're consuming, the fact that you're not moving enough, whatever. But chances are you don't need a certain color drink or this fancy $100 colostrum all of a sudden to help you lose weight. You don't need it. So move on, keep scrolling. And number 9, lastly, I've heard recently of this. I don't know exactly what it's called. The app name has Sculpt in it, but basically workouts that say they're going to sculpt your body. I have a product or a program called Shred. I will use the word tone on occasion, and probably sculpt. Like, those words are target words. I'm not saying that I never use them, but anything that's sculpting, toning, shredding your body is literally supposed to, if it will do what it says it will do, if the program will actually sculpt, tone, and shred your body, what it's having you do is gain muscle and lose fat. That's it. Those are fancy words that are, you're like, man, I would really like to blast my fupa and sculpt my body. So this girl gets me. I'm buying her program. It's literally, that's exactly what she wanted. She used that marketing, targeted you, played on your faults and your insecurities, and bam, right? So that's all that it's doing. And there's nothing wrong intentionally with those things. I just want you to be aware of that marketing and what you're going to be doing. It's not the program. It's not the wording that's the magic. It's not this Sculpt app or even my Shred program that's going to be the game changer for you. Ultimately, it's macros, it's water, it's increasing your weights so you can build muscle and lose fat, and that's it. That's how you looked sculpt and toned and shredded. Those are target words. I use them, so I'm not saying at all that using the word is bad. It's just, it's definitely a word that I want you to understand so that you don't think the magic is in a program that has the word in it. The magic is just doing the things that are going to sculpt. Basically, what these 9 things have in common is they're playing on you. They're playing on your insecurities. They're playing on your emotions. They're playing on the fact that your dopamine is really kicking in when you see something and it's like hit after hit after hit and you're buying and you're excited. Chances are when you get the program or you get the drink or whatever you wanted, you're not even in the mood to do it once you get it in the mail or in your email or whatever, because you're like, why did I even order this? Like, what? I don't even remember it, because you're just on the internet scrolling. Again, going back to the beginning, just use your brain, think it through, really think, will this work for me? After all the education that I've given you over the last year and a half, please take that information and really think, like, is what this person's saying on this reel actually going to work for me? Again, I would love to have these topics if you think of any more, but these are things I've personally seen, and I'm very happy to bring them to your attention and to kind of talk about them in the way that I love to do. So I hope that was helpful, and I will talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.